Hi there guys, this is another episode to help your business grow and for those beginning or those wishing to go through a rebrand. I am Richard from the R&C Growth Lab.
And I am Carolyn, the C part.
The C part, yes, the C part. Yes, as in that we live near the C part. So yes, you could get into all sorts, couldn't you? So anyway, today we are going to talk to you about the importance of your logos. Yes, the importance of your logos. It is very, very, very important that you get that right on many levels. And we have some paperwork sat here. We have our own logo to talk about from the leather repair company. We have some other logos here to talk about. And we have some other logos here to talk about.
Evolving logos.
Yes.
From how really big companies
I'm lost for words with evolving.
Probably didn't get it right in the first place, but now they probably
and
have.
Still don't get it right, some of them. We're not singling out any companies here, so all disclaimers, we have agreed.
Yes.
We just have examples we pulled up from the internet just to show you some examples of classic quality logos that are very, very simple, because what you've got to bear in mind, guys, with a logo is it's reproduction. Here we go, look. How simple is it to reproduce a logo like this, again on the arm, a different version of it? It's like leather repair company and it's credited. Instead of being the 3 triangles, it's got 2, but then it's got 3 little ones in the middle, so it still represents the 3. And it's got our name in there and it says you're accredited. So it's very, very clear. It's very easy to do. This is obviously embroidered. It's very easy to reproduce. So you have to think of your logo. You may think, oh, I want this great big fancy thing with all these different things in it. Say window cleaner. Let's say, look at a window cleaner for argument's sake. They've got a bucket, they've got a squeegee, they've got a sponge, they've got a ladder, they've got a small ladder, they've got a step ladder, they've got a house with a window, they've got a man stood there climbing up another ladder, and it's like, what the hell is going on? You do window cleaning.
How do you show a clean window
how,
on a
how
logo?
do you show clean windows on a logo? Not easy, but, a window with a squeegee. Keep it very, very simple. Or actually come up with a company name that is your logo. So it's a text-based logo. Now,
we've got some
we've got some classic examples of text-based logos. These are small, and we're going to talk about that as well. You can sort of see those, hopefully. So on the top here, I'm going to try to read these backwards. We've obviously got Prada at the very, very top. We've got eBay, and then we've got Sears, and then we've got Google. Then we've got Vans. I can't read the next one. Then Canon, and then Dunkin' Donuts. We've got Coca-Cola here, Porsche, Amazon, so on and so forth. Sony, Nike, Visa, Disney, Panasonic, Braun, Gap, and Bose. I just don't know what that one is there. I can't quite work that one out. Let me have a look. What is it? So I can't even say
Still
it.
don't know what it is.
Etna. Never heard of it. So there you go.
These are really good examples of ones that are just text-based, but it relies on the font. It's the font that's recognisable. It doesn't matter what it says. You could write Coca-Cola in a Vans text font, and you're going to still know it's Vans font most of the time. The really big brands, the font is the key to getting one of those right.
It's like everybody copying Coca-Cola swirly text
writing
in their logos, because they want to, they want people to think, oh, it's Coca-Cola. It's Coca-Cola because you're trying to align your brand with Coca-Cola. So if you happen to be a drinks company and you're using that very, very swirly Coca-Cola sort of design text, then obviously you run the risk of, trying to pass off as somebody else. So you're trying to emulate them as a Coca-Cola brand. You've got to be very, very careful where you go with your logos. Be very, very unique with what you do. We are very unique with our own logo, with what we do. The good thing with our logo is it is very interchangeable, which we will talk about shortly. But it just makes it easy to reproduce. Like we were saying, this, we don't need the name Leather Repair Company with it because everybody knows us as the company with the triangle.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, you've evolved the triangle. It's become rounded. Our logo has a deep meaning to our business because it was our youngest daughter, Eloise, that actually designed our logo for us originally. unintentionally designed it. We were all sat there trying to create a logo in our living room, myself, Carolyn, and our oldest daughter, Crystal. And little Eloise comes up, who's like 2 or 3 years old at the time, and just walks up and, you know, a hand appears over the top of the table because she was tiny, and it's like, how about that, Dad? And it's like, oh my God, that's it. And you should have seen some of the hideous, most ridiculously stupid, complex things we had drawn for our leather business. We had things with swirly belts in it and the name Leather Repair Company running down. It's like, oh my God.
The leather symbol shape.
Leather symbol shape that everybody coins the term on. And we wanted to be better than that. You know, we wanted to shout quality. We wanted something that could evolve with our business as we grew and become bigger, better and modern, which is exactly what we did back in 2000. Now, you've obviously got varying companies with varying logos, and trying to keep that logo simple is very, very important because there's a lot of things that you need to think about along the way. How easy is it to recognise it from a distance? I think it's another song, From a Distance. I think we need to do this.
Black and white, exactly.
Yeah. So obviously,
go through the different.
So
types.
yeah. So here you've got 4 logos, which have. I'm hoping, if you zoom in on the screen, you will be able to see them. So one of the most famous logos there is in the world. I mean, there is one that's even more famous than this, in my personal opinion. Obviously,
ours.
You know, in our opinion, the McDonald's golden arches here in black and white.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's on the Champs-Élysées. In Paris, it's got to be black or it's got to be white because the Champs-Élysées, that is how everything is there. So you've got to...
It's the only store that...
It's the only store where it's got to be like that because that's how all the shops are on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, because it is the road of the diamonds and rubies. If you think about that, you know, you've got red lights going up the hill and you've got headlights coming down, so you've got all these glittering diamonds and rubies shining at you on the Champs-Élysées coming down to Cleopatra. And it's actually quite a beautiful, quite a touching thing if you get down the bottom and get into the story behind the diamonds and rubies and think about that and encapsulate that journey. It becomes quite a touching, moving thing to watch those and see that with Cleopatra there at the bottom. So it becomes quite a memorable thing because, again, they've created this image that people know around the world with the diamonds and rubies. That's what they call it. It's the road of the diamonds and rubies. So it becomes known. It doesn't need a logo, but it's built that image. Yep, so you've got to bear that in mind. It's the image that you're building is everything. So obviously you've got Uber. Uber have a very specific logo that they use, which is text-based.
There's 4 different routes you can go down,
yes.
Isn't there? So the Uber one, which you can see here, is an example of a modern style logo. It's got very clean lines. Yes, it's a text logo, but it's got the clean lines and it's really simple. Facebook, for example, this one here, everybody knows it.
Or Meta, as it's now called.
Yeah, is a prime example of a text logo. They just have the text. They've got the colour as well, but we'll go into colour in a minute, because they always keep the same.
Again, it's think how powerful that name Facebook is, though, and they're desperately trying to get away from using the name Facebook, but everybody still says it's Facebook, and even everybody's like, oh, when I jump on Facebook today. You never hear anybody saying, oh, when I jump on Meta today, no. I don't think I ever use that term. When I get on Meta today, they can't get away. And they've been trying for years now to move away from Facebook because of the image that was built up around it with things that they got wrong, you know, with the way they allowed things to be on there. And it just built them a bad reputation with like mental health and all these other things with the live videos. It's quite a difficult thing to monitor, if you can imagine, with a live video. Someone's on there, they're doing stupid things and it's live, it's too late, you know, they've got to try to take it down. The complexity of having something that recognises something that's wrong to take it down, the cost is immense. So trying to get away from Facebook to Meta is very, very difficult. So all these things, when you're running and starting a business, you have to be so careful about how you are starting your business and how it's going to look. Don't you like my model? Isn't she great, holding up things?
I'm still waiting for the other 2.
Yeah, so she's waiting for the other 2, because I'm just rambling on. Obviously, you've got Adidas. We all know what Adidas, or Adidas, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not really sure. I've always said Adidas. Some people say it's Adidas. Adidas, yeah. So again, it's a very clean line. It's got the 3 things on it. It's like, you know, running uphill sort of thing, you know, shoes, trainers, think about it logically, running uphill. It's showing you that incline going up the logo. So again, it's quite a clever logo in its design in the way I view it personally. That's exactly what I see.
It's all about using the shape. It's the shapes.
The shape and everything else. So and if you think about it logically, it's also a bit like a shoe, like a trainer going on. If you think about it, you know, if you look at it, how it goes up, and it's got the, you know, the Adidas is like the sole of the shoe, and then the sort of three like sort of lines is sort of like the sort of front of it, if you see what I mean, almost like a slider, slip-on type thing. So again, it's quite clever the way it's designed when you actually start thinking about it. But you have to think about these things, about how a logo's designed, how it's coming out, how it's looking. There's a lot to a logo. A logo, you've got to remember, can be more valuable than what you're building, because it could be that logo. Just think about how valuable Coca-Cola's logo is, how valuable Pepsi's logo is. You know, all these different logos, how valuable Uber's logo is, how valuable Nike's logo is. You know, all these things, the logos are worth hundreds of millions, just as a standalone thing. So you've got to build that very valuable logo, and how recognizable they are. Clean, simple, straightforward.
Yep. Minimalist.
Minimalist.
Which is like McDonald's.
Yes, minimalist, golden arches. Everybody knows those golden arches. It doesn't matter where you go. There is a McDonald's. You know, McDonald's. I always sort of say to them, they're a bit like rats. You know, you'll never more than 5 feet away from a McDonald's. You know, and it's like everywhere you go, it's like golden arches. You know exactly what it is the moment you see it.
First thing you look for when you're on holiday in a different country or visiting.
Even though I don't personally eat a lot of McDonald's, it's always like, oh my God, there's a McDonald's. It's like, why isn't a McDonald's here? Then I start to investigate, why isn't a McDonald's in this town? You know, and it makes you wonder. Then you find why there's no McDonald's, because it could be that they actually don't. It's because there's not much revenue coming in. You know, because it takes millions to obviously do a McDonald's, and they've got to have. McDonald's own all the land that everybody sits on, so you've got to bear that in mind. So they've got to make sure that the revenue they're getting is going to pay for the investment going into that McDonald's, because you're talking like quite a lot of money to invest into a McDonald's franchise. So you've got to make sure that the revenue per head is stacking up to what the investment is in the first place. That's another podcast. So let's have a look at, say, Coca-Cola and MasterCard. We all know, you know, the Coca-Cola, it's like the bottle top, it's the red logo, it's got the bottle. It's still very, very recognizable. But when it gets like this one here, with the red top, with the bottle, it now becomes very difficult to reproduce in a print format. So it becomes very costly to reproduce that. When you're thinking about logos like this, when you start looking at something like that, it's got all these different colors, all these different styles, all these different textures. Trying to reproduce that in like an embroidery format is very costly, very, very complex, and very, very difficult. Obviously, they've got endless pots of money. They can afford to do that. But then when you get this one here, it makes it very, very simple again. And again, that standard swirly text that everybody knows. Then we look at MasterCard. MasterCard has that logo. It's quite an easy one to replicate, but starting to get difficult again, because it's got the little lines going through the centre of the two sort of circles. But then when you get the two circles on their own, like we have here, you still recognise that as MasterCard. Yeah. Again, it's that recognition of the logo, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We fell into this trap
on
one of
absolutely.
our first designs of our old logo. Yeah. Our logo, we thought it was really clever to have a leather background. Then when we went to get things embroidered, we found it was extremely difficult to recreate a leather look
in embroidery.
On embroidery. You just can't do it. So we had to do it plain, and then it just spoilt the whole
look of it.
Of what we were trying to do. So changing our brand, I think, was one of the very best things that
I think it was probably the best investment we've ever made, is actually changing the logo and evolving it to today. That was the key there. I think it's certainly.
Let's look at some of ours.
We can look at that. So
this is how everybody knows it.
Three
sees
formats.
It. We can do it different ways depending on what. So if you've got letter heading or things like that, then that one is great. Or on the backs of tops. This one works better for like signature stuff like that, really, as well.
Yeah, it can work well, yeah.
And then this one works better on like chest designs or anywhere where you need a block, so
Yeah.
even what am I thinking of, like your profile picture, things
Yep.
like that. That one where it's best
Yep, profile pictures,
in an equal block.
Let me just get some of these just to show you
Yeah.
something here.
Some of the different ways we can twist ours around.
The thing is, we can twist our logo, which is what makes it quite a versatile, universal logo, but also makes it quite valuable on its own right, because you can use the graphic device without the name, as we have done here.
Yep.
So that can literally be any company name. That's the beauty of it. It can literally be any company. You don't have to put leather repair company with it. You know, you can put auto detailing. You can put anything with it you want. You know, window cleaning, carpet cleaning, house building. It can literally be anything, because it's the 3 points, isn't it? If you think about that, the triangle has the 3 powerful points in business. Logically, which is what we did, and unbeknown to Eloise when she designed it, she didn't even know that at 2 or 3 years old. It's obviously got those 3 pinnacle points on the triangle. So Carolyn will walk you through these.
So the plain one, obviously, which is what I am modelling here, is just the plain. There's no text, there's no nothing with it. It doesn't say leather repair company, but everybody knows it is. The accredited logo we took obviously from this, but did the infill to that as well. And then you can go down the seasonal route with
Yep.
a fancy Christmas hat
With
on.
but then you've got the Christmas tree coming out the middle of it, because it's
Yeah,
like,
just
so
the
then the
extra-
logo is coming round, and then it's evolving into this Christmas tree in the middle. So it's like growing. It's, you know, it's quite a powerful logo on its own right, because it allows us to do many, many things.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like you've
This
got
one,
here.
yeah, we use this one a lot on the ends of our labels and stuff like that, and it does appear on our boxes, on lots and lots of our packaging actually.
So
You
like
only
there,
need
you've got
half
it here, and on the back you can see there's only a little bit of it there, a tiny little bit of it here, but everybody knows this is Leather Repair Company. We don't need to put the name on here in bold. It's got like a small logo here, as we can see, and again we got the logo used the back here a long ways again, because it worked on the box, it worked really well. But then on the ends we've just got the graphic device, and we've got it there as well. So again, it lends itself really well. And if you look at our warning triangles, other than where we've got to have a specific warning triangle, our warning notices are actually our logo as well. If you look at our labels, it's a very clever use. So we're hammering home this graphic device logo continually, so that people get the message that it's Leather Repair Company.
Just do another. We'll go through these really quickly because it's not all about just our logo, but it's just examples of how you can change it up. So obviously we've tried to get the Union Jack in this one, made in Britain. Colour, because ours really doesn't matter. We don't have to do it in black. We can do any colour on any colour, whether it's white on black or black on white or anything else. And then this one is a really clever one. We really like this one. So we do a recycled range of bamboo products, the pads, the mitts and the towels, and this is the one we use on theirs, which has got, obviously the bamboo is hanging in the background, but it's got the little seedlings there growing in the middle, which is really,
so it's obviously showing you that eco-friendly side of the business. So the logo again becomes eco-friendly, and it's growing the bamboo, so it's showing you and encompassing all of that sort of eco-conscious, you know, carbon footprint side of our business, which is extremely important to us. With that one, there's also like I don't know whether I printed it off. I haven't. I did have it, but I must have forgot to do it. It's got like, you know, the recycling logo. How it is. We've split it, so it's the like arrows. How they got the arrows on it. So we've split the logo. This particular logo, we've split it. This one here, so it's split in like 3 strategic places, so it's like the recycling thing. So we're because obviously we're recycling leather furniture, so we've got it split in 3 certain places, so it looks like a recycling logo. It just doesn't have the arrows on it, because we don't want to emulate and copy them completely. So it's got that sort of recycling element to it as well. So the logo, with our business doing a lot of recycling, can lend itself enormously to a huge, you know, different sectors really well. That's the beauty of this particular logo.
yeah. Just a couple more seasonals, which is our Valentine's logo.
So it's upside down now, but it's turned into a love heart.
And then that's just an example of packaging.
Of how you can, with the packaging it's clear.
Yeah, just really clean, precise, and it doesn't have to be in your face as big as this. We've proved that it works. I'll do this one as another example. We've proved that it works just as a small section on there as well. That's just got the actual logo on it. But this one's really cute, the Halloween one.
Yeah.
We like that one.
Yeah, so that's obviously the Halloween one, so it's showing you sort of, the pumpkin, black and the sort of orange pumpkin with the logo on both sides of it, so it's showing you that sort of side of it as well. And then obviously you can do it like this way, so you can also go down like the Red Bull route, so it's like LRC gives you wings, and it's sort of got the wings on the side of the logo. There's so many things we can do, with the logo that people still recognise it as us. So that's the beauty of it. So those wings, we had them animated at one point and it's like flying away. So you've got like a logo that's flying through the air. So it looks really, really cool. And it's just another sort of twist on things that we can do because we've kept it really simple. So getting back to some of these, I don't know whether we've got a big one of the one I want to talk about. Again, I seem to have misprinted. I think it ran out of paper when I was printing. I did have a big one of one particular company, which is the Nike whoosh, the swoosh, whatever you want to call it. That's obviously, I don't know whether you sort of know what it really means. It's obviously for speed because it's the whoosh, the swoosh, whatever you want to call it. I call it whoosh, it's the swoosh. There's a small one right here. So the small one right here at the bottom, it's that sort of Nike sort of swoosh thing, because it's running for speed and everything else. Now, Carolyn Davidson, who was the lady that actually designed that logo originally for Nike, think how valuable that logo is. It is the most recognisable logo in the world, period. That logo is probably worth billions, let alone hundreds of millions. And she was paid an staggering amount of $35. Yes, $35.
It was back in the 70s, but even still, it's crazy low amount of money.
That is a low amount of money that Carolyn was paid for that logo, but obviously the connection with the brand, with her logo, she has now earned that back many, many, many times over. Because she's quite famous for designing the Nike logo, the most recognisable and probably valuable logo in the world. There are so many things that you could go down, like with the Chanel one.
Changing it up, yeah.
Yeah, so take a look at the Chanel one. So obviously you've got this one's very, very small, but if you zoom in on the camera again, you can still tell it's Chanel with the two C's going backwards on one another, yeah, and crossing over.
Yeah, so no matter what the layout looks like of these, you still know just from that part, this part, that it's definitely
Chanel. So there's all these different ways to create different logos, and you've got to think about the logical side of it. So if you've got a van and it's driving down the highway, you want people to see it as quick as possible. You see all these vehicles with this livery on them. It's got so much bloody writing on it, you can't even work out who they are, where the phone number is, email, website, what the company name is, or what they even do.
Yeah, keep it simple.
So our company name, like on our van, we just have the logo, the long one, the logo, it just says Leather Repair Company. Very, very simple. It says what we do on the tin, and people can recognise this immediately. Immediately they know we repair leather, obviously. They're not going to think
that's all we have on there as well. We don't have a website, we don't have a phone number, because if people search Leather Repair Company online, they'll find us more or less straight away. They all just have to look for the triangle.
Yep.
And it drives more traffic to the website.
Because people are searching, sometimes people are searching, leather company with a triangle logo. So it helps us because we obviously use it as search terms and stuff like that. So it drives traffic to us quite naturally. So you've got to bear all these sort of things in mind. Obviously, then you get to we were talking about the Facebook with, it's blue.
The colour.
Yeah, so you got like the colour. So there you got the McDonald's with the red with the golden arches and Facebook up above it. So you've got all these different colours coming into logos. And then we've got another load here, which you can see with sort of like, some of the top sort of 50 and then some from the next sort of top 50.
Not going to show up very well, but you can pause it, zoom in.
Yeah, pause it and zoom in, guys, and have a look and see what you think. Again, you can see all these different logos there. Even though they've got colour to them, they're very, very simple and easy to read, and that is the key to it. So many people overcomplicate their logos. It makes it so damned hard to see it and understand what it is that you're trying to do.
I think the Google and eBay are the most well known for having the multicolours. A lot
Yes.
of people just have a single colour, like Facebook is just blue, Coca-Cola is usually red. You know, the H&M is red. But eBay and Google, they're known for having, they're all primary colours though. If you notice.
And then and I think Google's the other one, isn't it? When you just mentioned that, just give me that idea as well with Google. They obviously, if you go onto Google, you'll notice they change their logo at certain times as well. So their logo changes and their Google name becomes people or whatever, and different colours and things like that. So,
they animate it, don't they?
Yeah, so it still says it still says Google in the logo. Still very, very clear, but it's a clever way around doing things because it's a clever logo. It is a text-based logo. Yeah. It makes it very, very simple. We don't have to have our graphic device with our name, leather repair company, people know who we are. Take the name, take the text away, the triangle, people still know who we are. And it can be used anywhere. It can be used faintly, so it's very subtly in the background, like we've got here. It's very, very subtle here, a little bit darker here. You know, it just depends how you want it to look as to how it's going to come out. Entirely up to you, but you've got to make sure that your logo is simple, it is clean, it is easy to view, easy to read, easy to replicate, whether that's on clothing.
Easy to
Print is very important because if you...
And
cost.
Memorable as well.
Memorable. It's got to be very memorable, I think memorability-wise is more important than anything. And obviously, if you're going for full colour, then that's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than me just printing a black and white logo. Yeah. You know, a fraction of the cost to print it compared to somebody else. So then we get into people. I'm going to cover this one. I'm going to cover this one over. This one is from 1976, the original one, and it's amazing. You look at this logo. I'm going to cover their name first of all.
Disregard this one.
Disregard the one at the bottom. But just look at that. Who do you think that is? You wouldn't believe it.
It's brilliant, but it's complicated. It is extremely complicated.
So it obviously says Company Co down the bottom. Computer Co. So it's Apple Computer Company. That is Apple's original logo from 1976. And look at the difference now. Yeah? Now look at the colours, which is what we're talking about. You can reproduce it with colours. This is obviously 1977. This is 2001, and this is 2019.
Yeah, they've simplified it.
So they've simplified the logo as they've gone along, like with us. You know, we simplified our logo as we went along. So it's the same sort of principle. It's simplifying that logo, but you would never believe that was Apple at the beginning. Doesn't that look hideous though? Complicated? Try to reproduce that on a shirt as embroidery. It ain't going to happen. You know, very, very, very difficult. This, so simple. Someone's took a chunk out of the apple, you know. They've got a chunk of the pie, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's very, very recognisable. They don't need apple with it because it is an apple and it is what it is. It's an apple. And again, you know, you can do so many things with this, you know, to make that logo. Could you imagine that logo always reminds me of like Pac-Man game, you know, going along and eating the little things. So it always reminds me of that. So it's like, wow, you know, it's building that sort of imagination into what you're actually doing with your logo as well. So it becomes a very, very powerful, very, very high quality logo. We've sort of touched on a logo there, you know, that's very, very poor. There's another one here as well. Don't know whether you can sort of see that.
Just complicated, I think, is the one that's mainly wrong with these ones. Is just.
I can't even work out what this company is. I can't remember what it was when I found it on Google. I can't even tell you what their name is. It's got like tunes and
we need to have some
trumpets
guesses.
and things like that. I thought it was actually like some.
Do you know what? I didn't even see the instruments because I thought that was going to be a taco shop.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be a taco shop, but it could be like a Mexican taco shop, Esquilados or something, which might be a taco shop. I have no idea. Could be a Mexican. I have no idea. It could literally be anything.
But when you look at it, there is musical instruments in this
Yeah.
outer thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't
So
know
do
what
they
that is.
do they sell music? Do they sell musical instruments? Do they produce music? Are they a bar? Are they a club? Are they a restaurant? I have no idea. It becomes lost in translation.
So let's guess, a Mexican taco shop that plays
Music. We covered it all.
We've sorted it.
So there you get like a logo that isn't very memorable. So you've got to make sure your logo is very easy to remember. It's very clean, sharp lines. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, and you can't
it's like with anything.
You can't read it wrong.
No.
It needs to be plain.
Yeah, because I can't even hardly read this text that's on here, to be fair. And you've got to get it. It's like, to me, it's almost like music, because I think this is an E on here, but again, it's almost like music notes, and again here with the S at the end, it's like a sort of swirly music note, like a composer. Are they a composer? You know, so it's.
Let's make up our own story, maybe.
The logo is not very memorable for me, and it's getting lost in translation. Yeah. So you've got to make sure that the logo that you have for your business is a very memorable one and a very, very easy one to replicate.
It's got to stand out on the street.
It's got to, yeah.
It's got to be just plain, simple. Everybody will know what it is, what you do, hopefully, from that. It's like the amount of vans you see around, and you're like, they've got these logos on, they've got loads of words on, too many to read, and you're like, it doesn't actually say what they do.
No, exactly, yeah. But they think it. But the thing is, though, it's like with anything. If you know, you know. I don't know. I haven't got a clue what that is.
So we'll just make it up.
So we've just got to make it up. Then we get into some logos, which
examples of what not to do.
Of what not to do, of how things can come across as bad, but you're not really thinking about it. So we've got ones here, which I'll show you the first one. So I'm going to fold it over and show you this. And, you might think, yes, but I didn't think dentist at first. I thought, what the hell is happening here?
If you didn't have the words there, let's show it without the words first.
So you zoom in on that, and you've got a person stood there.
And a person laid there.
Laid there, and it's like, what on earth is going on here? And it's a dental clinic. But it just doesn't look right at all. It looks like something else is going on. I'll leave you to think about that and allow your imagination to flow.
Levitation?
Yes. They're levitated.
It's a magic man.
He's a levitator.
He levitates.
So you've got to think about your logo very, 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 very carefully. Very, very carefully. Then we have a logo here, which is a computer repair company, I believe. I'm just trying to turn it round. They're computer doctors. So they could have gone down a bit of a different route, but the mouse looks rather suspicious. Now, whether they've done that intentionally to grab your attention, to me...
It still would put people off.
It puts me off going to them because it's giving me the wrong impression.
Wrong vibe.
It's giving me the wrong vibe because I'm thinking, are they a specialist in finding this sort of thing on people's computers? So it gives me the wrong impression because I'm thinking, well, I don't need to go to them because that isn't on my computer. So I wouldn't need to go to them to do any recovery work or to work on my PC because I would rule them out straight away because to me it just looks too much of an innuendo. Then we have this one, and
that one's just confusing.
It's a confused logo. In many, many ways. It's easy enough to reproduce. It's classed as full colour. Becomes a little bit complex on some of its lines for embroidery. But you wouldn't...
They're wanting to see it now.
But you can't really tell what it is. And it could be...
Until you know.
Until you know, then it's obvious. And to be fair to me, it's still not obvious to me, even though I know what the logo is and whose logo this is. It's still not obvious to me. But it can also look like many other things, depending on how your mind works. I'll let you do the honors.
So you are looking at the logo of the Institute of Oriental Studies.
So,
So
I don't know.
you've got
It could
the
be
Oriental building,
Yeah.
and you've got the famous red sun that appears in a lot of Oriental logos, pictures.
Yeah, well, I never thought about it like that. So there you go. You see, it's a confusing logo because now she said that. Now I can see that. Whereas before, I couldn't see that at all, which is one of the reasons why I printed it off, because it's like, what on earth are they trying to say here? What is the message? What are they trying to get
out? It
out?
looks like lips and a finger, or it looks like a wig and a square face.
Could literally be anything.
The shoulders, that's the face. You just need a couple of eyes in
Could
here.
literally be anything.
Like a big mad hairstyle.
Yeah. Could even be someone's backside and a finger. You don't know. It literally could be anything. Like I say, there's no filters here. But it could literally mean and be anything. It's just...
And people will see it in different ways as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. People
like
see
you
everything.
saw that completely different to what I saw the sun. But only once I'd read it was the Oriental.
I never even connected them.
Studies.
Because it
Before
just
that,
didn't connect to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I first thought the wig, like a big clown wig. Like a big,
Yeah, like a big red nose, isn't it? Almost like
first,
someone's
yeah.
like a big red nose and a tongue or whatever sticking out or whatever. So it's very, very difficult. You've got to keep it clean and precise.
Yeah, I think the key points is simplicity. Clean lines for printing, even cleaner lines for embroidery, and just make it look a little bit classy. Like, unless you want to go down that route of just attention seeking, which doesn't sit well with a lot of clients. Yes, you might get publicised a lot, but it'll be for the wrong reasons. I know people say no news is, no news is bad news and things like that, but it can have an effect,
and so can a company name. It's like there was one or two of them that I was printing off that were just... No, I didn't print them off. They were just too dodgy to print, and this was just normal companies, but it was the way their name was spelt, and if you sort of like broke it up, it's just like, it's like, hold your head, Tom. It's like, oh my God, no, this is just...
Yeah, I think sometimes
do you not realise what you've said there? It's also how you think.
I think you can go down the funny route, which I think one we speak a lot about sometimes is the builders that we saw. Was it London?
Yeah, London. Yeah, they're quite famous. Yeah.
And it was the Cowboys and Indians scenario.
Yeah.
So it was.
These are some Indian guys. They're quite famous if you Google it.
Yeah, they're an Indian family of builders. And their logo on the side of their van read something about, you've tried the Cowboys, now try the Indians, or something like that. So that in that kind of scenario with that kind of
flip to
that can work. That can gain you exposure without it being bad.
Yeah.
So think of taglines as well. We've not even mentioned things like that, but having a good tagline after your logo can also work really well. But I think the key points is just simple, clean, classy, easy to embroider, easy to print, easy to read. People can tell exactly what you do, hopefully, from your logo. If it not be the text, then make the picture or the graphic device something recognisable to your trade, so people know what you do, and that leads on to the being easy to remember, because they'll know that logo is connected to that type of business or service.
It's like our logo. Obviously, we've got the the sort of rounded triangle, but then when you get right into the middle, it is virtually our original triangle again. So obviously, it's got three of them. Why would we have three? There's a logical reason why. Franchising, training, products. Three core services of our industry. Franchising, training, products. Three core sectors of our industry. You could maybe put training and franchising under one thing, and then you've got products and services. Services, products, franchising. It's three core sectors. You should always focus on the three core sectors of your business. That's what it's all about. So keep it clean, keep it simple, because you want to think about this. You're in a high street with your brand. You are a brand on the high street. People are driving through that high street. The last thing they want is to caption something like this out of the corner of their eye. They might think they're in the wrong neighbourhood. This one here, the computer logo, again, they might think they're in the wrong neighbourhood. The dental clinic, they're in the wrong neighbourhood again. You want to be able to, and then you get this one here, great logo, but what the hell is it? It can't read it. You want something very, very clean, very, very simple. Chanel, it does. You see that driving along the road. Apple, there you go. It's clean, it's simple. Coca-Cola, MasterCard, very clean, very simple. Adidas, Golden Arches, Facebook, Uber, they are all there, clean, simple, in your face, easily recognisable. People make it too complicated, and
don't overthink it.
Complicated makes it a problem to reproduce, and then a problem to remember, and that is the key here, remembering the logo. And it's your brand. You've got to make sure you build a very recognisable brand that is from a distance and very, very close up, guys. It is very important, and it is essential that you create that logo that can be seen instantly without any complexity to reproduce, because it will, our logo, completely white background, leather repair company, right in the middle. A picture of an apple right in the middle of a white background. Can you imagine this whole background with just the Apple logo? That one right there, right in the middle. You would think we were talking about mobile phones, because it's got an apple in the background, and you're going to notice that logo immediately. Think about this. Football teams, they're doing interviews. Look at the logos that's behind them, or the sponsors on them. They're very clean, sharp logos. If you start putting great big fancy things in there, you're never ever going to reproduce them, because that little logo.
That looks like it looks like the logo is behind the phone.
Exactly. You're talking thousands and thousands to have that logo there shown on the TV. But those there, like Carolyn says, this is like your logos on the back of a TV interview for a footballer. That's very recognisable, isn't it?
Yours needs to stand out, though, against all of these other guys that's going to be there. Yours needs to stand out.
Got to stand out, and that's the beauty of it. It's got to stand out. Clean, simple, sharp, easy to read, easy to reproduce, easy to print, easy to read, whether that's Word, text-based, or a logo-based. Got to keep it simple, guys. Recognisable. There's the fantastic ending word. Recognisable. It is your brand. Thank you very much, guys. We hope you like this. Please do like, please do share. Please give us your input on whether you think we are right or wrong. Don't be horrible, be kind, because we're not being horrible to you. We're here to help you grow your business on a large scale. That is what the R&C Growth Lab is all about, is helping you and guiding you to grow your business. We've been there over the last 40 years, with all sorts of businesses to help you grow with all different types of logos, and they are all very clean, very, very sharp. We have another one that I'm looking at just over here, and it is called Saddle Care, and it has a swirly text to it, and then where the S comes round on saddle, it has a horse's head there, and then the line follows round, and it is a very clean, very, very sharp logo brand for Saddle Care. Very, very simple. Simple as that. Keep it clean, keep it sharp. That is us, that is me. I am Richard from the R&C Growth Lab.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Carolyn.
Thought she was going to forget who she was then. So there we go, guys. Thank you very much. Please like, please share, please do comment. We want your interaction. We build on interaction. We build you on interaction. Let's all grow together and flourish. It is about being in business to make money. You're not about being in business to have a profitable job. You're about being in business to have a profitable business. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to our channel, like and share. As I say, thank you from the bottom of our heart. We're here to help you grow.